All right, sweet. Well, what's up, Jarheads?
I got it. I'm connecting it right now, so it
All
goes
right,
public.
cool.
We are live.
We're live, huh? We're live. Well, like you were saying, we were going to just start with, this is a 9mm Beretta that I got from my father-in-law. I bought it from him about a year ago. It had been sitting in his house back in Wausau, Wisconsin, for a long time, and got an email one day or a Facebook message says, "Hey, do you want, would you like to have this weapon?" And I said, "I would love to have this." So I bought it from him, and so what other way to start a live broadcast than with a 9mm sitting here? Let me put it away so nothing crazy happens, and we'll go from there. So Daryl, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. First of all, Tom, I appreciate you coming on today. Tom, guys, he is an entrepreneur. He's also a Marine veteran, as you can see. He's crazy with guns too. And I wanted to bring Tom on because he's all about the mindset on that side of it, with how to turn your ideas into income, helping a lot of contractors. He's got a book called Six Ways to Six Figures. Apologize, my dyslexia kicks in at times, guys. It's also a fellow 0311 right here. You got guys. And I wanted to bring him in here to share a little bit about his background and how he got started being an entrepreneur after leaving the Marine Corps, and a little bit of his story. And I'm pushing Tom out to you guys today, guys. So whatever questions you have, just comment right under below the live video feed, and I'm gonna go back in there and check out the questions as we go. So Tom, first question I got for you: how did you get started in entrepreneurship? What's the first venture you remember as a child get involved doing entrepreneur type stuff? Because I know we all have some kind of story behind that.
It's funny. I was actually in the Marine Corps, and I was taking a college class. I was overseas, and I had some time, and so I took this marketing course. And what's funny is, at the time, and I hadn't even thought about this until the second you just asked this question, I totally forgot about this. I had to write a paper on how I would save the Sears and Roebuck company, because they were struggling at the time. Now, I got out in 1992, and I was a Desert Storm veteran, and I was with Bravo 17. And anyway, my first entrepreneurial dipping of the toe was writing this paper. And looking back, I found the paper not too long ago, and I got this A on it. And I look back at it, and it was a total entrepreneurial spin of how I would market that company. And I had no idea what I was doing. I barely squeaked through high school. And so, although it wasn't like starting a business, I can see where like the seeds were starting to just kind of grow. And fast forward a number of years out of the Marine Corps, living outside of Chicago, where I'm from. I'm from Wheaton, Illinois, and I live in Manitou Springs, Colorado now. But I'm outside of Chicago, and I was working with my wife in campus ministry, actually we were in Madison, Wisconsin at the time, and I got let go from the church. So I got fired from a church. Go figure.
Wow.
And
you didn't bring your gun with you, did you?
Yeah, too hardcore or something, right? But and I picked up a couple sales jobs. I was selling carpet. I sold nails and tools out on job sites. I sold windows and siding. I did a bunch of stuff, and I'm driving around the area doing this stuff. And I have an uncle that's a painting contractor, and I'm like, man, I worked for him growing up, and there's all this opportunity here, and the economy was booming. And I'm like, and then some guy from our church actually asked me if, I wanted to bid on his house. It just kind of happened. And I did this job, and then it turned into another job. And like in the first week, I think I made like, $4,000 or $5,000 or whatever when I finally pulled the trigger. And I thought I was a millionaire. I thought I was rich. So I jumped in both feet, started a residential painting company outside of Chicago, grew from 0 to like 300 jobs a year, 400 jobs a year within 3.5 years, through just a lot of hustle. And so,
what time frame was that, so everybody gets an idea?
Yeah, this is like 2002, 3. when I started, 02, 03.
Okay.
And so built that company, brought on a partner, had a great relationship with my business partner, ended up selling my half of the business because I wanted to have a bigger impact in the world. And it was
When
just
was that?
how it led to me doing what I'm doing now, and that's helping other people win bigger. So,
Yeah.
So that's how I got started. And it's
when did you start? When did you sell your company?
this was early 2012, late 2011, right in there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
you were able to make it through. There's for those listeners who are unaware, there's a little bit of a financial crisis from the country from about 2006 to 2009.
Yeah.
Right. And you were able to make it through all of that and sell your company at the end of the day. Congratulations.
Yeah. And I had a good partner, and, I was kind of the sales and marketing arm. He was the operations arm. And without him, we don't survive that time. And but what's funny is during that time, our revenue dropped literally like overnight. And I remember we had a team meeting. We brought all of our employees together, and we sat them down. And this is, thinking back, this is stuff that I think I learned in the Marine Corps. I believe the number one quality of a leader in anything, and I don't think I consciously knew this then, but I do now, and I believe it now, is that if your number one role as a leader that you're going to be successful with is if you can make the people that you lead feel safe. And I don't mean safe like coddling with safe spaces and things like that in our society.
I bought my safe space card.
Yeah. But, people always know that you're not BSing them, and they know that you're going to shoot them straight. That you have their back. And, we've all, the guys listening to this, we've been in the Marine Corps, right? And it's, you all know that Mustang officer that comes in, he gets it, and he's got your back, or a good, good platoon sergeant or whatever. And so we just sat the team down, and the speech was this: hey, we're all taking massive cuts in pay. We understand if you have to leave, totally get it, because you got babies to feed and stuff like that. But we believe that we're stronger together than we are apart, and we promise that we're going to find a way to make it through this. And not one guy left. And so I credit that with a couple things. One is having a good partner. You got to be in business with the right people, and the other is a lot of what I learned about leadership as a Marine Corps, squad leader and things like that. So that was a rough time, but it was also the best thing that had ever happened to me as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, because it did two things. One, it taught me how to unify my team better. And the other thing that it taught me is it taught me how to market without any money.
Without money.
It was so hard to find the money to market with, because it was just one of those times in the economy. And there were a lot of mistakes that I think we made, but I think one of the things we did really well is we learned how to tell a better brand story, and we got more involved in the community and went back to that grassroots hustle. And so again, it ended up being one of the best things that I think could happen to me, just as a coach and as a leader and as an entrepreneur.
So Tom, help us dive in a little bit deeper there. Take some of the lessons that you learned as a squad leader in the Marine Corps. Because here's one of the things on the outside business world. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know myself and I happen to be one of those Marine officers out there.
Yep.
And again, mission first, Marines close second into making sure troop welfare is taken care of. Because I find that when the troops are taken care of, they take care of the officer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty simple. And I think one of the things that I always say when I got in front of my Marines is, listen, guys, you guys aren't here to serve me. I'm here to serve you.
Mm-hmm.
Just making sure that mentality understood, and telling them they need to voice up their. And we'll refrain from cussing so much on here. Make sure they speak up, to their chain of command if something is messed up. I'll just say it that way, politely. So that's the only way I would find out if something was messed up. So I was really big on that. And one of the things is you take these lessons I've seen in the corporate America and these business owners and the guys that are leaving out of the Marine Corps. And they see guys that are coming out and they're not sure what to do with them. And my thing is like, here's a corporal I have who's done convoy operations and charged millions of dollars worth of equipment. And, they could easily lead a squad of 20 people. Well, in corporate America, that's like a division, like crazy. It's like the same responsibility they had there, people's lives and all that kind of stuff. And the ammo, and you just change some of the dollars and cents around, and just key things like holding people accountable. I mean, those are lessons that, they've learned in the Marine Corps. They're now taking over outside of the business world. And I want to hear about some of your lessons you took away from the Marine Corps and how you're helping, businesses, put those into play for their own businesses now.
Well, I think what comes to mind, like I said before, is I think the people that you lead need to know that you can be yourself. And I also coach high school football, and I know that an athlete, a Marine, a salesperson, whatever it is, if you're playing all puckered up and afraid to take a shot and afraid to just let yourself out, you're never going to be as good as you can be. And one of the things the Marine Corps does really well is they cut us loose, right? They train us, and then they say, all right, go find a way and get it done. And that's something that I see business owners make really big mistakes with. Is they'll have a grown-up, right? They'll have somebody who's 25 or 30, 40 years old in their company, and they don't cut them loose enough and let them sink or swim. And here's where the light bulb went off for me. I remember I felt like I was micromanaging my business, my people at one point. Why can't they do this? Why can't they do this? I just recently did a YouTube video on how to let go, and this is the example I gave. I said, and then it hit me. I'm like, my God, when I was 20 years old, I had a radio and 12 guys assigned to me, and I had a $40 million jet that I could call in to blow things up if I wanted to. And I was 20 years old, right?
Yeah.
You think of what we did in the Marine Corps, what the average Lance Corporal does, and or Corporal. And then I thought, man, I had a buddy who was, I don't know, 19, 20, 24 years old, somewhere in there, that was driving a $200-300 million submarine. Yet we won't let the people in our companies, in the contracting world, set up a job or go estimate a bedroom, because we want to have all this control. And so I think one of the biggest lessons I learned is it's on me as the leader to equip them, to train them, but we got to get out there and start playing ball as fast as we can, because that's how you learn, and that's how you grow, and that's how you adapt, and that's how you develop other leaders. So for me, I think that's the one that really hits it. So.
Yeah, that's some very good insight. So you take somebody here who's been responsible for all these multiple guys, giving that control to help build your business. Because at this point, once you get on the outside, I'd say from the military side is, it's not somebody's life on the line, it's their livelihood on the line.
Right.
To make sure you're able to kind of close the deal. So Tom, share us a little bit more about what's one of the biggest things. I like to say there's no failure in life, there's only feedback.
Mm-hmm.
What's one of the biggest lessons you've learned from the feedback you've gotten in running business yourself, or possibly some other ones that you've seen businesses do?
Oh, there's a lot. I would say the biggest thing is everything that isn't going your way is your fault. You have to embrace that. You have to own your shit. And all of our success and all of our failures, or whatever we're going to call them, it comes down to the choices that we make, right? We can choose to work on ourselves. We can choose to, point the finger and blame other people. So I think as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a division leader in a company, I think that the number one thing that we've got to get through our heads is that we are 100% in control of the things that we can control. So you have to control what you can. I can't control anything else other than the things I can. And, like one of the big areas I see, since I know we talk about money and things like that in here, in sales mindset, we have a program called the Contractor Sales Academy. And we help people change their mindset about the value that they bring, and not let yourself be disrespected by the marketplace and the customers and this and that. But that disrespect starts in our own mind. If we're not respecting ourselves first and really taking stock of the value that we bring, then nobody else is going to respect us. Because the truth is, in the sales umbrella, people will pay what you're strong enough to ask for. When you're confident. Another thing as I see is salespeople make their own crap the customer's crap. Meaning, if you think $500 is a lot of money, you can project that onto the client in going, oh my God, I'm going to tell them I see contractors and business owners all the time sharpening their pencils on their own bids before they even have a conversation with the homeowner, because they're like, well, that's a lot of money. And so they're not one of the worst mistakes we can make mindset wise with sales is projecting our own beliefs about money onto our prospects. And so I think one of the biggest mistakes I've made in the past, and I see others make, is this whole mental game of truly understanding the value I bring to somebody, and that at the end of the day, it's really not about the money with them. It's about, can you connect with them and understand their pain and their pleasure and what's those hot buttons are. And this could be a leadership thing too. I mean, you can, we talk about pre-qualifying prospects all the time. Well, I could be having a conversation with an employee and I could be like, hey, wave a magic wand over your career here. What's it look like? I can get into his head a little, and I can, it's a mindset thing. And now it's on me to make sure that I set the table for this winner to have a place to grow and develop in my company, because it all started with understanding what's important to him. So kind of over there, but
no, absolutely. What are the most common things you see when companies come in and say, man, Tom, the value you deliver is amazing. Do you work mainly with the CEO of the company, or do you work with the whole company? Do you have a program that you roll out that everybody take? I mean, how do you bring your knowledge and the lessons you learned from the Marine Corps and transpire that knowledge over to them?
Well, it's both. Again, it starts with, if you're the owner of a company and you reach out to me and I'll say, hey, what's going on in your business? What do you want to fix? What do you want to address? Wave a magic wand, or, hey, let's pretend that we're working together for 3 months or a year or whatever it is. On the other end of it, what needs to have happened for you to feel like this was a good use of time and money? And then from that feedback, then I'll develop a thing where, hey, I think you and I should be on the phone together weekly for X amount of months. Or I'll say, hey, you and I just need a monthly check-in call, but I'd like to spend some time with some of your key team people or whatever. So it's not a one size fits all, because none of us are one size fits all, so it's a variety of that thing, but I've done all the above that you mentioned.
Okay.
I go in for a 1 or 2 day workshop where we get the whole company there. And I love bringing the people with boots on the ground. I love getting them in the room. I love getting them alone, because you can get some real scoop of what's happening in the business. And the owner, you might be thinking that you're this amazing leader and you're, addressing all these things in the business that are important to your people. But then you start getting feedback from those boots on the ground, right? And they're like, yeah, that ain't the reality here. And so we can peel those things back. And many times it simply comes back to just changing the mindset of the owner. But
awesome.
Get in front of people, we can't do that.
So many people, they want to kind of look at themselves like, oh, I'm doing all this great stuff. But then it's real important you check in with your people and get that feedback. Guys, I want to get some feedback from you. If you've got, like Rob, you're posting stuff on here, or Jason Top, if you guys got questions and you just want to fire them out on the page here, I'm paying attention to that so I can ask Tom directly for you guys. So feel free to do that. And Tom, when you're out there, what are the most common mistakes you see the business owners that they're making? Like when you're out there and you're taking on a business, what are like some of the low hanging fruit that somebody could take into action today? Be like, wow, that's something I'm doing I didn't even realize.
Well, number one, they're not charging enough money. And I'm talking small businesses here, right? The dude who gets out of the Corps or whatever and starts a web design business, starts a contracting business, whatever. Most business owners are grossly undercharging for what they do. So that is number one. And that all starts in your head, just understanding your value, like we talked about. The other one I see is that we don't view employees as an investment. And, we can't pull off the things we need to pull off in our businesses without the right people. And, winners, here's a big thing. Winners are not going to stay in a company that doesn't have a clear path to winning more. Like if I hired you tomorrow, I know you're a winner. I know your background, so I know you're a winner. If you came into my company and I just kind of cut you loose and had no accountability, no recognition, no fun, no clear path to how you can continue to kind of put some more trophies up on your wall or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that motivates you, you're going to bail on me. And it's not going to be because of money. I mean, there was a stat that came out not too long ago. I'm terrible with quoting where my sources here, but trust me. It was like 65% of employees would rather have a new boss than a raise.
Wow.
Okay. And I believe it just starts with, the employee issues I see across all industries. Everyone's like, there's no good people out there. Like, you're going to tell me in a city of 3 million people, you can't find one good person? No, you just need to be a better leader is what it comes down to. And so I see that as a big thing. They don't invest. But then you go, well, how do you find these people? How do you attract these people? Flip it back to the marketing side. How do we find customers? We build a brand. We tell a good brand story. We identify what our ideal clients look like, and we speak their language. It's no different with your employees. All right. If you want the winners to be attracted to you, then create some video content and boost it on Facebook to the age group of the dudes you want working for you, and put it out there that have certain likes. Maybe they're former athletes, or they went to this college, or they did this. And that Facebook brand story of the type of company that you have continues to get served up. So I see a lot of businesses not, marketing for clients and employees 365 days a year. So to me, that's it. Then we don't make the experience for our employees really good either. Mm-hmm. We focus on customer experience, but we don't focus on employee experience. I'd ask those of you that own a business out there, do you know what the goals of your people are? What do they really want to accomplish in their life? What's a win to them look like? And it's not always a raise. It might be, the dude wants to, finish his degree, or it could be he plays in a band and he wants to be able to have time off every year to tour. Well, if he's a winner, I want to help him achieve what he wants, even if it's a little inconvenient for my business, because what's that going to do, man? He's going to want to stick with me. What is it? Zig Ziglar said, you help enough people get what they want, you're going to get what you want.
Yep.
In our day and age, we got to be a lot more flexible as business owners when we get those good people. So I can go on. There's a million mistakes, man. I had a mistake.
I really think you were onto something there, especially when you talked about, I think one of the things we do inside the Marine Corps, whether it's going to be going to corporal's course or sergeant's course or squad leader's course, we have all of these courses set aside to then invest into our Marines and invest into it all the way up to general officer symposiums. I mean, every rank has some kind of course they're going to. There's command and staff, as officers, and, staff sergeant's course, platoon leader's course. We have all these courses and we're constantly investing, and they constantly have awards at all these different courses.
Think about this. One of the things the Marine Corps does really well. I just talked about building the employee brand. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any better brand builder in the world than the United States Marine Corps. When you see the commercials and you see this, that's why we all join. It's like, man, I want to be one of the few badasses on the planet, man. That's what it is. And they appeal to that. But the other thing the Marine Corps does really well, you ever had something pinned on your chest?
Yep.
How's that feel?
Feels pretty damn good.
Okay. So what the Marine Corps does is they are rewarding the behavior they want. And that's a mistake a lot of business owners make, a lot of entrepreneurs make, is we complain about all the things that are happening in our business. My people aren't this, my people aren't this. And I would say, hey, this next week, every time you see some behavior that you want, pin something on their chest, figuratively. Put a helmet sticker on, like a football team.
Yep.
And if you work in the trades and you own a carpentry business, maybe you buy the guy a new tool belt, or you buy him a new nail gun, or a gift card to one of the stores or whatever, where he could buy some cool tools, or take some time to bring the whole office together and go, hey, listen, Bobby here did an amazing job of respecting one of our clients this week. It was a really tough situation, blah, blah, blah. I promise you that when you flip it, you start, looking back on the core, and you mentioned the ebook I wrote years ago and things like that. I talked about building your team. What I learned in the core was there's high accountability, there was high recognition, and then we had a lot of fun. Those were kind of the three constants of the best units that I was with and the best leaders that I served under General Mattis,
Me too.
And there you go, man. When he was a lieutenant colonel, that's how old I am.
There you go. He was a general.
But like there was high accountability, which we need, but then there was high recognition,
mm-hmm.
And so I would challenge the entrepreneurs, business owners, leaders out there, do an experiment over the next week or month or whatever you want to do. Say, I'm not going to let anything come out of my mouth with my people except recognizing the stuff that I want more of. And I guarantee you will get more of that stuff.
Golden nuggets right there.
Yeah.
That's huge. Guys, recognition.
If I had a mic, I would have dropped it right there.
Dropped it right there. And
here we go.
We got t-shirts, guys, and ribbons. Marines will climb up a hill and go after to get a t-shirt or a ribbon.
That's right, man.
Actually been there.
You know.
So those are huge notes. Let me check on the page here.
All right.
Shannon had a question in here. Newly divorced and trying to put things together to start a new small business. I ran businesses in the 80s. After I got out of the Marines, it was good for a few years, but no one was there to help me be successful. This is great help. Thanks you, Shannon. Any questions you have there? You want to fire away, man. This is you got the Motor Hard, expert on right now, and he's a key component for helping a lot of businesses have a lot of success. So guys, feel free to fire away any questions you have here on the page, and I'd be happy to read over any of the questions you guys are putting up here.
Did you say that was Shannon? Was that his name?
Yeah, Shannon.
Okay. So I'm not looking at the Facebook page. So
that's fine.
Let me share one thing with Tim real quick. We've all got things in our personal life, right? We all have things, whether it's spouse stuff, kids stuff, financial stuff. I've had all the above. I've been bankrupt and everything in between. And I would say to anyone, and maybe this doesn't apply, but if you're looking to start something new, if you're looking to you've been knocked down, and you're like, man, I've been knocked down like 1,200 times and I'm standing up for the 1,201st time here, right? Whatever you're starting, if we want to have success, and I learned this recently from another coach that I work with and some things like that. It's about managing your energy. And most of us spend so much energy on the things that aren't going to push the ball over the goal line, and we settle for field goals instead of touchdowns. And so the advice that I was given is identify everything that other people do better than you. So in my case, that would be anything administrative. Okay. Like I'm that guy that I don't have one here, but I'm that guy that can be given a envelope with a bill to pay. The check can be written out, sealed in the envelope, a stamp, and it's addressed. It can be handed to me to drop off at the post office on my way through town. And that damn thing will be in my truck 6 weeks later. Like I am terrible at administrative stuff, which leads to the second thing, that you want to eliminate anything that drains your energy. And for me, that's administrative stuff. So all those things that you think of when you look at all the to-dos, just go, what does somebody do better? What drains my energy? Okay, start with those and eliminate that stuff. And then on the flip side, you want to identify the things that when you do them, they always produce growth. All right, so for me, every time I record a podcast or come on as a guest like this or shoot a video, write a blog, engage on a Facebook Live video, speak in front of a group, might not happen immediately, but every time I do those things, it always produces growth in my business. And the other cool thing is you want to do the things that produce confidence, because the more confident you are, the more attractive you're going to be. People are going to want to work with you and they're going to hire you no matter what your product or service is. Okay. So when you can eliminate those things that suck the energy out of you and that people are really good at other than you, and you can replace that with only doing things that build your confidence and produce growth, you're on your way to getting up off the canvas a little bit faster.
Absolutely. And that kind of brings us into one of the questions that somebody had is, do you go speak at any events out there, or do you participate in any events that are out there around the country? What are some of the things you plug into?
Yeah. So I work with, everything from trade associations to companies that have me come in and do workshops and things like that, all the above.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite book, or what's some of the books you're reading right now?
Oh man. I love The One Thing.
The One Thing. I just got that. It's a great book.
Yeah. Here. Hey, Dakota, open up. My son's here. He's my video
cool.
guy. He's recording some stuff. That cabinet right there in front of you.
Also, I want to put a plug in for Neil. Neil is actually the one that brought.
Is there a book called The One Thing? Bring it over here.
Yeah. He's the one that brought us together today. And Neil actually is does a lot of that administrative stuff that Tom was actually talking about with web stuff in the background, helping you do all the email marketing and the how you manage people, the lists, and helpful with that. So,
So that's the thing, like Neil is a winner. Neil and I met when we were both contractors in Chicago, and Neil's the type of guy, when you hire winners, you send a quick text or email and you go, hey, it'd really be cool if we could pull this off. And then the next thing you know, 2 days later, it goes poof and it's done. And I didn't have to give any time to it and get frustrated and this and that. And it's worth the amount of money that you pay somebody to do that. So I see this with business owners a lot in the trades. They'll spend $10,000 on a freaking piece of equipment, and then they'll gripe about, updating their website, or they'll gripe about hiring somebody like Neil to take care of their sales funnel or whatever. Guys, you got to invest in people and stuff like that. So yeah, here's that book, The One Thing. And the whole premise is, listen, we cannot multitask. All right. And you're going to be way more efficient and productive and reach your goals faster if you basically sit down and go, all right, I'm going to drive one nail in at a time here. Imagine when I speak, sometimes I use the analogy. Imagine I'm building a house and I have a bag of nails and I run over to this wall and I tap it in a quarter of the way and I go, oh my God, there's another nail over there that needs to be put in. And I put it in. I spend my whole day running around the house, and I get home and I'm like, man, I'm so tired. I didn't get anything done today. How many of us feel that, right? What did I do today? I didn't really get anything accomplished. When the best thing to do is you set the nail and then you keep hitting the sucker until it's all the way in. Just make sure that the nails you're hitting early in the day, first thing of the day, are the ones that are going to get you toward the goals that you want. So
absolutely. Stay focused on one thing, and when you bounce around to 50 different things, you get 50 things not done.
Yeah, there you go.
Again, that's Neil over at emailsplat.com if you guys want to check them out. Any other questions you guys have on the page here, feel free to post them as well. So again, the book, The One Thing. And Tom, where could people get more information about you and your services and how you go about helping contractors that are out there?
I got a few places. And let's start with the Strongpreneur podcast on iTunes. Is pretty much a weekly podcast where we talk about stuff like this. The second would be reberlive.com. That's my Facebook page where I do a lot of Facebook Live videos on different topics. So we got the podcast, we got that, we got the Tom Reber YouTube channel where stuff like that's happening. All that's free, man. There's total stuff out there that I promise will help you. I get emails all the time. Like guys are like, hey, I've been watching your videos of your podcast or whatever for the last year, and I've been implementing stuff and I'm getting out of debt and making more money or whatever. And I'm like, cool. And then you can also head to my website, which is Motor Hard. Motor's my mantra, my personal mantra of how I approach life and how I roll. So if you go to motorhard.com, and there's links to our Contractor Sales Academy and coaching and a speaking page and stuff like that. So, between that, there's plenty of stuff out there for people to get in touch.
Cool. Absolutely. And thanks, Tom, for having me on today. One last question. So how much networking do you do?
Oh boy, depends on the type of business. So if I'm a brick and mortar local based business, that's how I built my business. I'd drive down the road. I'd see a house that had rolls of carpet out on the street or something. And I'm like, oh, they probably need a painter. So I'd go knock on the door and go, hey, I'm Tom. Here's my card. You might need to know me sometime. It's building influencers, who else stands in front of my customer, and I'm B&I groups and, sponsoring things in the community. I mean, absolutely you have to network. Well, doing what I do now, it's different because I work all over the country and things like that. I do a ton of networking in this realm by producing lots of content, connecting with guys like you. And now, you become the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So 100%. You and I now start hanging out with each other, and we're rubbing off our networks on each other, and we help one another. And I don't even mean monetarily. I just mean like expanding your mind and helping you grow. So yeah, your job, anyone's job, is if they want to grow their business, networking has to be a huge part of that. And when I've not focused on networking, I usually see like a downtrend in my business 6 to 9 months from now. I can look back and go, man, I wasn't at events. I wasn't meeting people. I wasn't doing stuff like this. Because what you plant today is going to grow 6, 9, 12, 18 months from now.
Truth, the truth, the truth, the more of the truth. Congratulations, Tom. Appreciate you coming on today again.
I appreciate it.
Motor Hard, guys, you know where to find him, motorhard.com, and make sure you get on motorhard.com because you want to find out how you can get your motor cranked up that much higher. So I appreciate Tom coming on today.
Daryl, thank you. I appreciate you having me. And anyone that ever has any questions, feel free to reach out. I'll help you any way I can.
You got it, brother.